So you want to be an architect. Have you wondered if architecture was the right career path for you? Stick around in this series and I will teach you more about how to become an architect. In the first episode, we'll discuss what to do if you're in high school, what you should be aware of when you look at colleges. In the second video, we'll discuss how to actually go about getting your license once you graduate. There are 3 steps to becoming an architect. The first is the groundwork you lay in high school to prepare for college. The second is understanding what colleges to go to for what types of degrees. The third is the actual licensing process after you graduate. So what does an architect do? I do a whole range of things on a day-to-day basis. I do program reports. I do analysis of existing building studies, which is the photo you see. I do assessments of existing buildings for codes to make sure that what we're going to put in the building meets code. I do code review on projects. I put together schematic plans. I detail out what a wall assembly will look like, what a roof assembly will look like, what the finishes of the space will look like, how someone will experience the space as they're walking through. I also will do meetings with the client, meetings with consultants, engineers, other architects on my staff, as well as sometimes with the public when we have hearings. Then we have the bid process where we put it out to bid by different contractors, and then we go through construction where I go on site consistently and review the status of the project to make sure it's going according to plan and according to our details. So you want to know how to know if this is the career for you. Do you like solving puzzles? Do you enjoy drawing? Do you like art? Do you go into a space and touch everything and look at everything? That was a big key one for me. I used to love to touch different fabrics when I was in different places and get a sense of what different materials felt like and how they were put together. Do you try to guess out how things are put together? Are you in awe of beautiful, magnificent spaces? Do you love history and architecture? Do you love art? Do you enjoy seeing how everything goes together in the world? If those are things you enjoy, if you enjoy working with people, if you enjoy building something magnificent and beautiful, whether it's just a small fit out or if it's an amazing new complex, if that would make you happy, that's how you know this is the right career. In order to get into most colleges, you're going to need to have an art portfolio. I didn't realize this when I decided I wanted to be an architect, so I scrambled my senior year to put one together. And luckily my school was good enough to let me retake an art class just to put my portfolio together, even though it wasn't for credit. Also, physics is very important, and so that will bring us to our next slide. The pillars you need in order to give yourself a good background for college. Now, if you can't get all of these, my school didn't offer physics. Try to do what you can, or find other means in your free time potentially. Some of the things I found successful was taking art class, doing hand drawings. Perspective drawings are phenomenal. Take an AutoCAD class if you can. It's a good program that some firms use. If you have a Revit class, even better. Trigonometry and physics are the most important concepts to know when you are doing design work, and the ones I use the most. A lot of the other ones we use, but typically we coordinate with engineers on, so they're not as important, but they're still going to be important. And then if you have a shop class, if you can do Habitat for Humanity or volunteering at a construction firm in the summer, those are all very great things to get a base and an understanding on. If the best, maybe interview an architect in your area and ask them questions about what they enjoy and what they think about it. There are many things to look at when you're going for college. It's going to be about where you want to be in the country, what kind of schools you're looking for. There are the top schools. There are also schools that are much lower than that would be cheaper. It all depends on what you're looking for. I will break it down into the stuff that I believe is important for architecture and what you need to know. And that is that there are levels of college degrees in terms of the licensing aspect. There are two versions of an accredited degree, and there's the non-accredited program. Some of the state schools would be non-accredited. They would offer a degree in architecture, but it would have more complications with getting your license. There are also two versions of the accredited degree. The first year is a 5-year professional bachelor's. Your 5th year is your thesis, but it's still only a bachelor's. That's actually the program I went through. Then the other program is a 4 and 2. It's 4 years of a non-accredited architecture degree transitioned into a 2-year accredited master's program. You can go either of those roads. I will tell you that going the 5-year seems to be the most efficient path for getting your license, but it all depends on what you're looking for, the cost of your education, and what's the best plan for you. The second component that I found very important is an arts degree based a science degree. Most schools have a mix of the two, but there are schools like Cooper Union, which would be more arts, theory, design-based, high-in-the-sky, conceptualizing, sketching out things that might not be completely feasible. And there's the science-based college, which is a polytechnic, typically, which is what I went to, and it has a fair balance between design and actual detailing of components and systems and technicality and drawing and understanding the actual components, professional development, and different more science aspects to the degree. It all depends on what you're looking for. The one thing I will note is that what you do in college and what you do in the real world are two very different things. When you get to the real world, you'll be doing mostly detailing and red lines, and that's your first year. It's just understanding detailing. So I think going to a school that has that more conceptual, how do you draw a wall assembly, how do components go together, is very important, but not necessary. You can do perfectly well. There are also people that go into art space, do rendering, and pursue rendering careers for the rest of their life. It all depends on what you're looking for. If you like this video, please subscribe. And then if there's any tips or tricks, like I would suggest that in college you get an internship. It's very important to have an internship in architecture, as well as construction in your early years. Don't be afraid of the construction field. It makes you more valuable as an architect. So I highly suggest, even if it's just Habitat for Humanity, doing some kind of actual building of materials and have an understanding of how components go together. It's the most valuable tip I can give you. And enjoy it. I hope that this has helped you. If it has, come back for next week. If you have any questions, please leave it below or send me an email, and I promise to get to them in one of my future videos. Thank you. See you in the next one. I hope you liked this video. Next week we'll discuss what happens after you graduate college. How do you get your license? Again, remember, if you like this content and you have questions that you want answered, either email me, leave a comment below, and in my next up and coming episodes, I will answer it. Subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.